There, friends, from now on, starting in week 2, I will be having a friend of the week. If you play good enough for the week prior, then you will probably be on my show. Wouldn't that be grand?
It ceases to amaze me what happens when the camera leaves this set. You talk about grand, Noel, I'll tell you what's grand. Next week, this show is going to be completely renovated. And guys, part of the new renovation is we're going to bring in a mouth-sized spoon to scoop the peanut butter out of the back of Noel's throat so we're able to hear what he says. All right, guys, we're going to put some teas on upset alert right quick. 3 individual matchups. Jacksonville State at Georgia Tech. What do we see?
I like Tech. ACC team. I like Tech.
Well, when you look at it, you've got a big-time coach, Paul Johnson, coming in. You know what? Never mind. There's something in the air tonight, as Phil Collins would say. Jacksonville State rolls into Atlanta, knocks off Georgia Tech in that crazy Thursday night game. Go ahead and mark it down, Jacksonville State.
I can hear the drum roll in my head now. Virginia Tech and East Carolina, guys, a neutral site game in Charlotte.
I like Skip Holtz. I like the Pirates. Arr.
You know, I like Skip Holtz, too. He comes from a legendary culture family, as we would like to say. But I like Virginia Tech. I like consistency. I like Beaver ball. Virginia Tech rolls.
All right. It happened a year ago. Does it happen again this year? Instead of Ann Arbor, it takes place in Death Valley at night, Appalachian State at LSU.
Not in Baton Rouge. This is the SEC, not the Big Ten.
LSU? LSU. They dominate Appalachian State. No way that happens again.
Almost thought you were going to do it. Almost thought. All right, let's get to the big-time games, guys. Utah at Michigan. Michigan, a 4-point favorite. What happens in this game? Who wins it?
I've really gone back and forth with this one, Josh. I like Utah. I like the history of that program, the underdog spirit. But I think Michigan is just too big. The pride and integrity of the Maize and Blue is on the line. You've got 105,000 people piling into the big house. I think you have to look at Michigan taking care of business and unveiling the future of that program.
Rich Rodriguez rolls into Ann Arbor. New team, new contract with Adidas. Who cares? Utah with the old Nikes, get it done. Knock off Michigan.
Name brands aside, give me Utah. USC at Virginia, guys.
Chris Long's gone. Mark Sanchez, Joe McKnight have a huge day for the Trojans of USC. I think USC beats them by 30.
Well, you know, I previewed it earlier, guys. Virginia just needs one game to put them up there with the elite echelon programs. Virginia, 20-point underdog. USC comes in looking ahead to us. No way, give me a break. USC goes in and dominates Virginia. Virginia, stay where you're at. You're second class in your state. USC rolls.
That'll make it 3 for 3. Give me the Trojans. All right, guys. Monday night primetime. Tennessee at UCLA. SEC team Tennessee needs to get it done this year.
Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home in California. I like Tennessee knocking off UCLA.
Kind of undecided on this. A new coach at UCLA, Phil Fulmer at Tennessee. I like Arian Foster and the Vols. I can't quite jump on Rick Neuhauser's bandwagon quite yet. Big time SEC teams rolling in there. I think Tennessee gets the job done.
All right, I'll roll with Smokey and the Vols too. Michigan State at Cal, guys.
Brian Hoyer coming out. I think he's going to have a breakout year for the Sparties. I look for Michigan State to put it to Cal.
This is the day when Mark D'Antonio jumps up there as one of the elite coaches in college football. Give me Michigan State knocking off Cal.
I love the pick. I will take Michigan State all day long in that game. Think it could be maybe 1 to 2 touchdown win for the Spartans. Illinois versus Missouri in St. Louis.
I like Juice Williams. He's going to get loose, but I think Chase Daniel and Jeremy Macklin are going to hook up a couple more times and Juice gets loose. I like Missouri. I like Chase Daniels in the top 3 at the end of the year for the Heisman also.
You know, I was kind of harsh on Illinois earlier on the show, but now I have 3 words for you, Illinois. Go, Cubs, go. The only relevant team in the state of Illinois right now.
Are you kidding me?
Illinois, they have no prayer of beating Mizzou. Ron Zook comes in, just heralded. He did the same thing in Florida. He petered out after 3 years. Just give me Missouri. Give me Missouri in a blowout over Illinois.
White Sox doing okay this year, aren't they?
I think they are.
White Sox do still play baseball on the south side of Chicago. All right. All our attention now focuses on the Georgia Dome. Saturday night, 8 o'clock on ABC, guys. Alabama versus Clemson. Big-time matchup. Neutral site matchup. The Tide rolls in off a disappointing season last year while Clemson comes in as a clear favorite in the ACC. But guys, it's happened before, and we've seen Clemson throw away a great opportunity. So what happens Saturday night on the turf of the Georgia Dome?
Well, you know, this is a big game. I said earlier, this sets the tone for the year in college football, and I do believe that. If you come out and you have one team blow out the other team, you're not looking towards a very good year in college football. But I believe this is going to be a great game. When you look at the University of Alabama, you look at tradition, you look at Bear Bryant, you look at just a rabid fan base there in Tuscaloosa. And 6-6 does not cut it. We all know that. You can't go 6-6 and expect to be a big-time football program. You know, you've got a lot of impact freshmen coming in. And Nick Saban has said they're going to play. They're going to see playing time. You've got Julio Jones heralded as probably the second best receiver in Canton right now as a true freshman. So I think when you look at that, you've got hype. You've got, like we said, just a huge fan base that's ready for a big season, ready for a breakout game. On the other side, you have a clear favorite in Clemson. When you compare the talent between the two teams, Clemson is just a huge favorite. You talk about the backfield and James Davis and C.J. Spiller. You've also got an experienced quarterback in Cullen Harper. If I'm Alabama and I'm the defensive coordinator, though, what am I going to do? I'm going to stack the box and stop that run. That's why your difference maker comes in the form of Aaron Kelly. Last year, 88 reception, 11 touchdowns. When you're making it to the end zone 11 times as a wide receiver, you're an impact player. What I'm looking for is play action over the top to Aaron Kelly, maybe being the difference in this ballgame. You've got two programs that are just ready for huge years. If you're Clemson, you're Tommy Bowden. You cannot choke this opportunity away. I like a close game. And to be honest, guys, I like overtime. I like overtime in the Georgia Dome. I like Clemson taking this one away from Alabama in what could be one of the games of the year. But I like the Clemson Tigers on sheer talent alone.
Hold that thought, little friend. Alabama and Clemson. More than just a game. ACC versus SEC. Tommy Bowden probably playing for his job this year against Nick Saban. Julio Jones is going to come in and make a big, huge impact for John Parker Wilson this year. Terry Grant, coming back off a sensational freshman season last year, is going to be pounding the ball left and right. For Clemson, in order for Clemson to win this game, C.J. Davis and James Davis and C.J. Spiller have to pound the ball also. I think Cullen Harper's going to be opened up to hit Aaron Kelly over the top, but I feel that John Parker Wilson and Julio Jones are going to have the chemistry this year, and they're going to hook up. And I think that's going to lead Saban Nation and Alabama into the promised land, and it's going to get them on track, maybe not for their only visit to the Georgia Dome this year. I like Alabama. I like what Nick Saban's doing over there, and when he gets more of his recruits in next year, Alabama's back on the map. I think this win right here puts them on the map this year. I like Alabama in a close game, a 3 to 4 point game. I like Alabama pulling out the win. Saban Nation, go crazy.
I guess that means I balanced the seesaw out right here. Guys, I think you look at Mark D'Antonio. One of the reasons I like him in that Michigan State game so much is because his team has taken on the attitude of their head coach. And I think that is a winning attitude. I think I see the same thing happening in Alabama. Bottom line, like you said, though, it all comes down to wins and losses for Alabama. Bunch of freshmen are going to play in this game. All right. The number one recruiting class in the nation comes in for Alabama. We talk about Julio Jones. You've got Dante Hightower that we think will start at the weak side linebacker position. Alabama started another freshman at the middle linebacker position last year by the name of Rolando McClain. And we see how that turned out. Nick Saban has an eye for talent, and I think in year 2, you give Nick Saban 6 months to prepare for Clemson. I think he has a defensive strategy that neutralizes that running game. That being said, like you, I see overtime in this game. I have to lean Alabama because I think when you give Nick Saban that much time, I think he develops a game plan that neutralizes those two outstanding running backs. And I think you have the cornerbacks in Kareem Jackson and Javier Arenas to neutralize Aaron Kelly in that Clemson passing game. That being said, it should be a great game to kick off the season in Georgia on Saturday night. And with that, we'll conclude our Week 1 show. Join us back here again for Week 2. Until then, enjoy the games. We'll see you next week.